My ship is ruined! No! I mean, yeah, that was really, really bad. And I'll only now point out that both Basilio and Walhart critical with 0% chances there, so clearly gameplay mechanics don't fully work the same way in cutscenes. One other thing about that cutscene that I just feel the need to point out here, that is the first time you actually see Walhart in person in this game, and clearly it's meant to have a really big impact. Like, the whole point of that scene is, you've heard Walhart the Conqueror mentioned throughout this entire arc, but it's not until now that you actually see him, and it's at this point that you're meant to go, holy crap, that is Walhart? Really? Wow, we're screwed. Now, I feel this was kind of ruined by the fact that the game's official website and all of the magazine interviews and promotional materials up until the release of this game pretty much showed Walhart very much front and center, just showed you what he looked like right there. I really think they should have kept the surprise, because really, the first time you see him in that cutscene, that is meant to be the first time you see him in person, and it is meant to have a really big impact, so yeah, spoiling what he looks like was not exactly a good move, I'd say. Also, completing Chapter 16, this shop here sells second seals, so at this point, you really can kind of go crazy with reclassing and leveling up infinitely, and I'm not going to do that because that pretty much breaks the game into a billion pieces. But it seems the future has refused to change once again. We actually have a support between Marisu and Sairi, but what I actually might do before we do anything else here is, I might actually fight this skirmish. The main reason is, Sairi is so close to ranking up her swords, and I want her to hit A because being able to use a brave sword might actually be really beneficial, because she has a big fight coming up. First, let's convoy those two. So, by coincidence, a merchant has spawned right here with this Risen, so I have an excuse to fight them to get myself a free item. The hilarious thing is, this merchant is right here on the beach. I don't think any enemy even stands a chance of reaching them, so, yeah. Though the heroes here are quite powerful. Anyway, though, I'll see you after this skirmish. And with that, we get... Oh, a brave bow? Okay, that's kind of a weird coincidence because Virion actually just reached an A rank in bows, which means he can actually use that. Actually, that's not a bad idea to give it to him now, because the enemies are getting stronger, so a brave bow would certainly help. So yeah, Virion actually has a brave bow now, which is pretty awesome. Also, yes, Sairi did indeed reach an A rank in swords, which means I might as well give her that brave sword that we found ages ago. It's probably better on Donald because, well, I mean, once Donald maxes out his sword rank, because then he'll actually be able to pretty much get infinite uses out of it. But at the moment, Sairi is going to need all the help she can get for an upcoming fight, and do I have any energy drops to spare that I could, like, give her or something? I think she'll be okay. I just really hope those aren't famous last words. Also, Virion and Shursh both gain 1 level each, so that was actually pretty useful. Do we have any spare silver axes? I know we have a spare killer axe. Superior axe? There are actually quite a lot of enemy axe uses in the next chapter. Also Hector's axe, which is ridiculously good, but I'll save that for a really special occasion. Hey, we do have a spare silver axe. Nice. Might as well take that. I'll get rid of the Volant Axe and the Hammer for now, because we actually won't be fighting any enemies those are good against for quite a while. And convoy the boots, because we don't really need those anymore. The Vake seems to be fine. The Cordelia is fine as well. Oh yeah, convoy those. Convoy that. I think we should be fine to head on towards the next chapter, after a quick support between Mary Sue and Sairi.
Oh. Right. Hey. Now...
Thankfully, Mary Sue didn't have to walk in on her changing this time.
Huh? Nay.
So, that'd probably be some variant of green tea. I actually quite like green tea. I've tried it at a few Japanese restaurants I've been to, and it's actually quite nice. And of course, entire schools being dedicated to tea does definitely bring to mind Japan.
Right. Yeah.
Actually, green tea does actually taste not very different to water to me, but anyway. Oh yeah, the small sweets they often serve. I actually was at a tea ceremony once when I was at a school in Nagasaki. I had to eat those, because normally I don't eat sweets, but I had to eat them there because otherwise it would be rude not to eat something that you've been offered, and they were really sweet.
Nay. Right. Yeah.
So that's B support between those two. Actually, I may as well buy that discount Killing Edge while I'm here. Always useful to have more of those. Now, I have got quite a lot of bullions lately.
I carry only the finest.
I wonder if I'll have enough to actually large bullion, medium bullion, and 6 small ones. Okay, let me just do an experiment here. Let's see if we can make our first forge weapon. I think this will be our first forge weapon of the run. That won't be too expensive. So you can only forge, you can either improve the might, hit, or critical of a weapon. And like I was alluding to in the previous chapter, you only have a limited number of boosts you can give a weapon, that's 8, but enemies on Lunatic mode can have forge weapons that go beyond this. And they will, trust me, they really will. Maximum critical and a bit higher might is probably alright. I know it seems a little too early in the game to be using a Forged Brave weapon, and this is going to cost me quite a lot of gold, but we are getting a lot of large bullions lately, I might as well. Also, this is kind of weird. If you hit OK immediately, you'll actually skip the naming process entirely. So if you want to name the weapon, you actually have to go there and press the name directly. Now, I have a very specific name I want to give this one. In honor of what we're about to do. In extreme, tragic, ironic honor of what we're about to do, actually. That cost a lot of gold, but hopefully it would be worth it. If anyone deserves a forged weapon at this point, it would be Sairi. Now it's time to head into Chapter 18. The location here is called the Demon's Ingle. Now, this actually was another reference to a past Fire Emblem game in the Japanese version, but unlike the Mila tree, they actually changed this reference in the English version. Presumably they kept Mila because the reference is still in a song that's in Smash Brothers. This place, well, I'll tell you what it's called when we actually begin the chapter, and its significance is fully explained. Chapter 18, Sibling Blades. So, of course, the Turncloaks only put up token resistance while their masters weren't watching, like she said in the last chapter.
Right.
And considering, how our delaying operation is going against Walhart, yeah, he might be, breathing down our backs sooner than we, thought. So,
Nonetheless,
we'd better take out Yanfei quickly. Also, panning to a volcano. That has to be significant. Now, this seems to imply there might be some kind of reinforcements in this next chapter, but actually it's not true. We'll need to choose our battlefield carefully, Crom says, as the camera focuses on a volcano.
nay.
Apparently, Crom's never seen a volcano before. This does make sense, considering that on Yllis, which was once Arcania, there are really only volcanoes up the very north of the continent, which used to be Fire Dragon territory, so makes sense Crom wouldn't have seen them. So this volcano is called the Demon's Ingle in the English version. In the Japanese version, this place was called Dorma's Remains. Now, Dorma was the second of the two goddesses of the continent of Valentia, which is now Valm, from Fire Emblem Gaiden. Now, I remember that Dorma was also called an Earth God, which is interesting because Mila is considered the Earth Mother in this game. But Dorma was generally, well, they were the god worshipped by the upper half of the continent, Rigel, and they were generally seen as an evil god for most of the game, in the same way as Grima is in this one. But actually, well, I don't want to spoil anything, but Dorma's actual personality turned out to be quite interesting, but even though you only really see him in the final chapter. I guess it's possible that Dorma is a fire god, but unfortunately, being Australian, I can't take the phrase, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" seriously, because there's an Australian children's show that a lot of Australian kids grew up with that had that as a catchphrase of one of its main characters, and I don't even want to say the name of the show because that would be an enormous mood kill for... Yeah, it's very silly.
I see.
So, we're choosing the volcano here. It's...
Faye. Alright.
Yeah, we'll see Mary Sue's cunning plan now. She actually doesn't intend to burn us all to death. But we could do the whole risky barrier strategy. It's kind of like in Star Wars, how when you want to lose enemy ships, go into an asteroid field. Of course, Yanfei will still come, even though, well, it's a volcano.
Right.
So be it.
Well, they are the main characters, after all. So, I did say before that the Mila Tree was my favourite map in the game visually. This one is very close. The way the lava looks in these graphics is just so amazing. Anyway though, like the last chapter, we have a ton of promoted enemies to fight, including some swordmasters that are higher level than the other enemies here, and some that have some pretty decent skills. Speaking of skills, I need to watch these warriors very carefully, because some of them may have counter. No counter. No counter. Am I really going to get no counter warriors here? No counter. Rally strength. Oh, okay, I did get one counter warrior. Fortunately, he's right at the bottom of the map, so I won't have to worry about him for a while. This skill is absolutely brutal in this game. I'll talk more about counter once we actually deal with it, because depending on which enemies get counter in this chapter, you actually might have to radically alter your strategy. Now, the good news for flyers in this chapter is that not all of these warriors have bows. In fact, very few of them do. There are, however, a ton of Griffin Riders that have axes, so Lance users... For a map that has the boss as a Swordmaster, there sure are a lot of axe users in this map, so you'll definitely want to bring your own sword wielders. There's also quite a few sages here with high-level magic, especially Rexcalibur, which is very bad for flyers, and a few paladins as well. Of course, we have the boss here, and, well, we'll talk about him later on when we get to him, because he is very strong. Now, the main annoyance of this chapter, and the main source of most of my resets, is these treasure chests. Now, there are no thieves on this map, but it still has a way of depriving you of treasure chests, permanently. Oh, go away, you big nightmare face. And yeah, he just keeps giving us more reasons to hate him, doesn't he? Ugh. Basically, since at this point the Valmark is filled with at least mostly sympathetic antagonists, they had to give you someone to hate, and Excellus really delivers in that department.
I no longer have a sister.
Yenfei here is voiced by Kirk Thornton, who you might know as the current voice of Shadow the Hedgehog in the Sonic series, so he does have a tendency to voice angsty characters quite often.
Really?
But clearly he is trying to hide his angst here. He doesn't feel good about having to fight his sister, but he doesn't want his men to know that. Of course, Excellus has some form of leverage on him, like he does on all of the Dynast members. Just shut up, Excellus. Yes, please run. Please run and get your horrible face and even more horrible personality out of here. Now here we're introduced to the gimmick of this map. Every few turns, a part of the map will collapse into the lava and its terrain type will change from floor to hazard. Anyone standing on this, be they on your side or the enemy side, takes 10 damage, and they'll continue to take 10 damage at the start of every turn as long as they're still standing on one of these tiles. But even in the collapse segments, a few floor tiles don't actually turn into hazards, and these are still safe to touch, like this one right here. Now, what I want to do here is relating to the collapsing floors. I said this map has another way of denying us our spoils, and that is these, the collapsing floor and these chests here. If the floor a chest is on collapses, the chest is destroyed, and whatever item it held is lost forever, and we don't want that, do we? Now, and because of that, I want to get Gaius as fast as possible down to the chest that disappears the first. And to do that, I'll need to clear out some enemies that are in the way. Though I want to use Church for this one, because if I use Virion, he would get attacked by 2 Griffin Riders at close range, and that wouldn't be good, would it?
Victory.
You can count on Virion's high skill stat to give you a lot of good dual strikes, though, because dual strikes are calculated based off of the skill stat. Wondering if it's actually better to use... The problem is Gaius has the higher movement, so I want to keep him in the lead until we actually get to the chests. And even then, he only has higher movement because of his movement +1 skill.
Nice.
Those sages are an absolute nightmare for Church, though, so keep her away from them. Rexcalibur pretty much rips them apart. Speaking of being ripped apart, hopefully I'll be able... That guy has Astra! Okay, I didn't realize that. Yeah, sometimes these Swordmasters do have Astra. Getting a critical there would have been really useful. But a level up for Noe is good. Also, next time she attacks, I'll try and go in first-person view, because someone has requested to see what first-person looks like on Noe or Pan. Also, do you still have... The enemy skills reset, didn't they? Because I've had to restart this chapter a couple of times. Oh, you have counter now. Just gotta watch out for the warriors with counter. Make sure we're away from... Okay, you have rally strength. You don't have counter, and, yeah. So, where's the one with counter? Lock in his range, because we don't want to get into melee range of him if we can help it. Okay, let's see if I can get a critical here. It's early in the chapter, so I should be fine if I don't. Oh, that's horrible. That's absolutely horrible luck there. Because Lissa can't actually heal him. Oh, I may have to restart this already. But I'll go through this turn anyway. Try and get rid of this paladin here. And that's exactly what I needed.
I am indebted.
Come on, Cyree, gain strength like you did last time. Yes, you did. Excellent. Wow, really, really good level up there. Gonna attack with Hellfire just to see if I can get a little bit of chip damage on this guy. I would have liked Ignis or a Dual Strike there, but still. And normally you can't really double these Swordmasters, but with Crom's pair-up bonus on Lucina, she, well, can.
Thank you.
Really? Wow. So, here's our introduction to the damaging mechanics of these floors. These enemies are all going to get burned a little bit. But we may still have to restart this if we get unlucky. Although Vantage... Here we can actually see Vantage working. Vantage is actually back to requiring you to have half HP or less, like it was in Fire Emblem 4.
I am invincible.
It actually hasn't been like that for quite a while. And that guy is doing something else that often happens in Path of Radiance. Enemies just running back and healing. This may be necessary.
I could have stayed home.
And Owain's hit max level. Let's just hope he survives the turn. Your true power is your real true power is about to be unleashed soon. Oh, and Lissa can use Seer Rank Tomes now.
Are you ready?
Thankfully, this guy doesn't have counter, otherwise Lucina would be in serious trouble right about now. I'll explain how counter works once we actually get to the guy who has it, because it's not a good skill to go up against. Crom is still pretty decent, but he tends to get shown up by Lucina overall. I mean, the only stat that Crom really has that's better than Lucina is defense, but Lucina has much better evasion most of the time, so it's not like she really needs defense. Also, look at her Cape Flutter there, and that's a better level up out of her. See, Lucina has almost as much strength as Crom has, and she's barely even half his level. Of course, when Lucina does get hit, she does get hit a bit harder than Crom, but generally, she doesn't really get hit too often, and she can recover the HP right back with Ether, provided that we actually get Ether. And this is why I didn't switch to Virion in the front, because with him in the rear at this point, he can still get his effectiveness bonus on these Griffin Knights by dual striking them, but he is not in danger of actually being damaged by them, because he's actually quite frail still. Oh, pretty great level up there too. And hey, I can replace the other steel axe that Church has with the silver one. Church didn't get hit nearly this much in my last attempt, though. I may have to heal her now.
Shame on me.
But yeah, Virion is very good against those Griffin Riders. Yeah, when I keep calling them Griffin Knights, that's because that's what they were called in the Japanese version, so... just force of habit. Just Griffin Rider does not sound like a promoted class name. And a silver lance that we can, I guess, keep for someone who needs that. And that stage there got Rally Magic. And yeah, that's why I want to get off the beginning part of the map, because it collapses. Also, that Rally Magic was completely pointless because, well, everything they rallied has no magic weapons, so completely useless, but amusing nonetheless. Oh, if I heal with Lissa with the physics staff, I'm going to have to hold off Wayne's promotion for one turn, but might be kind of necessary here. Speaking of necessary, a dual strike is very much, actually... So yeah, that is what it looks like to be on first-person view with a mannequin.
What a team!
The camera doesn't fully flip around though for the flip, but yeah, you should see what it looks like with Pan. It actually looks pretty cool. I'll show that to you the next time I have her attack. Now, for experience, Gary Stu is going to grab his father, although he hates to admit it.
My strength is yours.
And gone.
Farewell.
That sounded actually... That was quite an evil-sounding farewell. And yeah, Gary Stu's stats are a lot more... Also, yeah, we just inherited the concoction that guy just took a swig of before. Yeah. Couldn't you get really sick from that? Yeah. That guy with Thoron needs to go, though. Just because Pan and Gaius need to head to that chest as fast as they can. And the warrior there. Okay, we need to lure that warrior. But not just yet. We need to lure the warrior to a point where... we can safely attack him from range and not close up. Because otherwise, we're going to take the full damage that we deal to him right back in our face. Yeah, counter doesn't just counter half damage in this game, it counters full damage, and it always activates, unlike in Path of Radiance, where it was pretty much the worst skill in the game. You know, I think the coast is kind of clear for Virion to do this. And Virion doubled that Sage in my last attempt. Stupid random stat increases on enemies. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter because he's still critical anyway. So yeah, every time you restart a chapter, their skills are reshuffled and their stats are kind of reshuffled as well. Oh, that warrior though. I do not like that warrior. And yeah, even when that floor tile collapses, the tile Yenfei is on will always stay safe. So you don't need to worry about Yenfei burning himself to death on the lava.
Allow me.
Though we may have to worry about that
There we are.
eventually, because if any of our characters get too damaged, being on a lava tile when it collapses and dying from that, quite possibly one of the most embarrassing ways to die in Fire Emblem.
My turn.
Not quite the most embarrassing way to die. That would be probably critting yourself with the Devil Axe against a tree, but there's also being hit by a rock in that chapter of Path of Radiance where they drop rocks on you. Getting killed by a catapult in Radiant Dawn would also be pretty embarrassing, because those things have pathetic damage. I would say the most embarrassing way to die in Fire Emblem would be getting killed by the spear traps in the Ultimate Dark Tome side quest in Sword of Seals, but I don't think it's even possible to get killed by the spear traps because, well, I mean, their might is like, what, like 5 or 7? It's something like, you take no damage when your defense is like 5, so it's really, really stupid. That warrior guy just moved, but hopefully we'll be in range to attack him well from range and not from close up. Rally strength is worrying though. So, we'll deal with counter in a moment, but first let's, actually, if I do that... How much health does Shersh have? Okay, I think she should be... No, she won't be fine. Well, that's annoying. I basically have to have everybody here attack Gaius and Pan. See, as much as I would like to do that, that'd mean that Virion would get hit by quite a few enemies, and he's pretty frail. Actually, what I would really want to do is take this warrior out with a bow. Because you do not want to attack warriors with counter close up. The one Achilles' heel of counter is, it doesn't work on... It only works on adjacent enemies. So if you attack with a bow, you don't get countered. And that is really, really useful. And that's why bow users are so much better on Lunatic Plus than they are in on normal modes. Because Lunatic Plus just loves to stick counter on just about everything, so... And I'm probably going to have to physics staff again. Yeah, I'm actually going to have to do this here. I should have equipped a better axe on Oh, she killed him anyway. And good, Virion's finally getting speed. Getting defense might be useful too, because he's going to be attacked by... Wait, is he going to get attacked by two... Wait a minute, he can't get attacked by any Griffin Riders, can he? Well, he can get attacked by that one, because it can fly around behind him, but not the second one, because flyers can't actually stop on lava. They can fly over it, but they can't stop on it. Probably because of, I mean, I don't know, heat currents or something like that, but I mean... If heat currents work like that, everyone here would be dead right now, so... I'm guessing heat currents don't work like that. And I may have to hold off Wayne's promotion again, because... I need to physics staff Gaius, I think, because... Otherwise, things could get kind of bad. Better to be safe than sorry. Now, I'm not going to trust you, Event Tile. Last time, I took time out of Donald and Noe's busy schedule of heading forward to step on that event tile. The problem was it turned out to be a weapon proficiency bonus, which, as you know, is useless to Noe because Manichetes don't even have weapon ranks, so that was really, really annoying when that happened. Let's see, I hope Gary Stu can take it if I do that. Wait, equip and use. I'm not used to using weapons like you would an item. And that's collapsing, so we'll need to get to that treasure chest pretty quickly. And I didn't equip the magic spell. I was thinking, oh yeah, Morgan does more damage with steel swords, but not the case of when you can't even counter them. Also, suddenly these enemies have a much higher chance of hitting Gaius now that he's equipping a bow rather than a sword. Of course, if the Sage attacks him, the Sage could get counterattacked.
My power is yours.
That's why bow assassins can be pretty useful.
Sweet.
In fact, Pan was actually a bow assassin in my first playthrough. I reclassed her to Thief, because I actually wasn't using Gaius, so I had her as my main lockpicker. Always awesome when you have enough luck to completely negate the critical chance of killer weapons. Also, this guy's another one of those cases of jerkish forge weapons. That enemy there has a forge weapon, but he'll only drop the regular version of that killer lance, so... Of course they wouldn't let you get the enemy's uber forge weapons. Sairi is dual striking quite a lot with Lucina, despite the fact they can't support, which is interesting. And yeah, that's what I was kind of worried about, but one of them attacking Virion shouldn't be too bad. Of course, I would have liked to dodge there, but oh well. Another strength rallier. So, yeah, the early part of the map is getting more and more messed up, basically. Well, that does exactly enough, so I may as well equip that. I'm not used to Morgan having this bad magic. Mary Sue was meant to be a magic asset, so it's probably all because of Crom here. And yeah, he only drops the regular Killer Lance and not the Uber Forge version. Also, speaking of jerkish enemy drops, so yeah, this guy has Bolganone on hard mode, but he only drops the tome that he'd have on normal mode, which is just Arcfire. At least he's not deliberately using Arcfire just to waste its uses. Okay, come on, Donnie. Now, yeah, if this guy had counter, I would have to completely change my strategy and attack him from range. So, you do have to change your strategy in this chapter based on how many of the enemy warriors get counter. It really is that bad of a skill that you have to pretty much change your entire strategy around it. Okay, speaking of changing your strategy, now that Sage is gone, it's safe for Shursh to come out. And hopefully I can take out this warrior so that Gaius can head with all speed towards the chest. If I do this right, I shouldn't miss these chests again. That stupid Swordmaster is still in the way. But hopefully he won't be in the way for long. Now, lethality would be really cool right now. Nope. Oh, wow. A miss from Pan. Oh, yeah, now you lethality. It still looks very cool, though. Just to clarify, lethality works with any weapon type in this game, so bows or magic even work with it. And, yeah, when it activates, the enemy is dead immediately, even bosses, so it'll work on Yen Fei if you want to cheap out the fight like that. Okay, he is somewhat injured, though. It would be really embarrassing to have him promote and then just immediately die to that Swordmaster, and possibly the Paladin as well. Though he would gain... still have the benefit of Vantage. Or would he? And well, scratch that, I forgot to give him the Master Seal this time. Guess I can have Lucina grab one and then take it over to him. Oh, that is really annoying though, because yeah, last time I did... Don't think anyone needs healing desperately. Oh, it's almost that chest, but not quite there, and it won't be there for a few turns, so I'm safe for the moment. Do you have Astra as well? You might. Cyrene needs all the practice she can get for the big fight she has coming up, because of course I am going to do that fight with her. Speaking of fights, this is going to be a very, well, hopefully a very one-sided fight. Dragoned. Of course, despite being a promotion of Wyvern Rider, Griffin Riders are obviously not weak to Wormsbane. Another reason why Wormsbane isn't all that useful.
Right.
Lissa may be squishy still, but she's great at both offense and defense now. And that Jewel Strike wasn't completely useless for Owain. He raised his weapon rank from it. Nice, Jewel Guard.
So long, sucker.
Yet another completely useless lethality.
Sweet.
But it still looks very cool. I love these bow dual strikes on flyers. Viren's actually making himself really useful finally. He's redeemed himself. Although Shursh is suspiciously not gaining defense lately. The lava keeps encroaching on us. And that is the one warrior on this map who has a bow, I think, so you need to be careful of Shursh around him. And speaking of being careful of Shursh, there is another Rexcalibur Sage. Okay, the Steel Sword will do it.
Let's do this.
I just need Donnie to max a few more stats and then I can promote him. And I can reach this chest already. And yeah, that guy has a Tomahawk, so he has very little chance of hitting Gaius. In fact, if I really want to troll him, I could do this. And this chest here contains a medium bullion. So, I lost this chest in my first attempt at this chapter, but it's no real big loss if you do lose that one. It is the one that goes first, though, so keep that in mind. Okay, I think this should be fine.
That's one. Yeah, come on. Checkmate.
We're having a theme of completely useless skill activations, aren't we?
Just as planned.
I would like you to gain magic. I mean, on the plus side, this is pretty much the best strength, skill, and speed I've seen out of Morgan among some of my playthroughs. But yeah, that magic though. Marisu was meant to have a magic asset. What happened? Oh yeah, and just to be extra jerkish, if you brought Kellum to this map, this guy has a forged armor slayer. I've mentioned before that enemies only ever forge up the might and hit of weapons, they'll never forge up the critical rate of them. So at least you can be thankful for that. Yeah, I sort of do want Owain to promote as soon as possible, so... Okay, trade it with your cousin here. And... I believe the time for Owain to unleash his true, ultimate power has come. My sword hand can barely contain this excitement. Now, Owain can promote to one of two mighty classes, Swordmaster or Assassin. I normally like promoting him to Swordmaster, for I believe it suits his personality the most. However, Owain hath already inherited the Astra skill from his father. And because of this, it may be more beneficial, in terms of skills learned, for Owain to become an Assassin upon this promotion. Assassin is also an amazing class all round, so, well... I have no objections to going this class, and thankfully, Owain does keep his mighty colour palette upon promotion, regardless of which of these options you choose. Behold the scope of Owain's newly awakened powers! We must now flee this volcano immediately, for it will soon erupt on account of the sheer ham overload that has emerged. Yeah, that. And, I mean, seriously, just look at his stats. This is how good second-gen characters are. Level 1 Assassin, and he already has almost as much strength as a level 8 Swordmaster. Not to say that Cyree isn't good. She's actually still pretty amazing. Just, no first-generation character can really compare to the second-generation ones. They're all just so ridiculously good. Virion is still somewhat damaged, though. And that tile, I almost said that in ham voice as well. Okay, now here, hopefully Vantage will be amazing. Oh no, did you seriously just... Okay.
Owain needs no aid.
Ha! Did you believe Owain would fall to your feeble sword hand? And in fact, you have made a grave error, for now Owain can use your own Armor Slayer.
Like candy from a babe. Nice.
Something that I should mention is, critical hits are calculated after skill activations, so if you see the critical flash, you know that you haven't activated lethality. The funny thing is, lethality can actually critical, and this did happen in one of my other attempts of this chapter. But, of course, you know, lethality criticaling is useless because death times 3 is still death. It's funny when it does happen, though. Yeah, using the sword here probably is better. Wait, you're level 4. You know what? Maybe I should... Virion should be safe doing this. And if not, I can just, Physics Staff with Lissa. These enemies are almost gone, and the good thing about this chapter is there are no reinforcements to worry about here. No reinforcements at all. Although last time things kind of ended badly here, because, I rescue staffed Gaius over to this chest, but the warrior, I forgot to kill that warrior and he was still in the way, and that ended badly. But I will not make the same mistake twice. First, we will strike down this sage, and I'm still in the Owain mood now. Well, and it looks like everyone is. Well, this is the only attempt I've had at this chapter where Owain promoted, so that's pretty cool. Come on, max out everything. Okay, his strength, I'm pretty sure his strength is now maxed, so all I'll wait for is just defense, and then I'll promote him to hero immediately. Not that he isn't a hero already. That was terrible, but oh well. Only one last enemy left before the fated duel, and it's only fitting that Cyree should be the one to...
I'll cover you.
To get rid of the last enemy standing between her and her brother. Now, provided nothing goes wrong with the treasure chest, we're almost pretty much done with this chapter. So, this is why I brought that rescue staff, because it helps getting your thieves around the map more easily. And it still gives a lot of experience, even if you're promoted. And then we get this chest, which contains an energy drop. Definitely one of the chests that you don't want to risk losing here. I actually think I'm going to have to switch Lucina over to Crom, because I'm actually going to have Crom fight the boss here. As well as, you'll see in a moment. Father, come practice with me. I want to see how you react in battle, yes. To increase my power so I can rule this world. So yeah, that's another parent-child conversation. And yeah, that chest is almost lost, but it's not quite. Also, the lava starts going crazy around this point in the chapter, so yeah, if you haven't grabbed these chests now, you probably want to soon. I could use a trick to get Gaius over to that chest without having to rescue staff again. do a transfer. Now Gaius is on Donal, who hasn't moved this turn and can thus grab the chest. For a second seal, kind of useful. And now I'm going to rescue staff Gaius over here so that he can reach the other chest next turn, hopefully. If worse comes to worse, I like to transfer Gaius over to Shursh, because that can get him around the map much quicker. Also, transfer, take Crom, and yes, it's almost time, and I think Cyrene needs to be in the middle of the map for this, but not there. All we need to do is make sure that we don't die to collapsing floors. And yeah, so that chest is now gone. So on turn 7, that's basically the deadline for getting at all of the chests. Because if I hadn't got that chest now, it would have been destroyed permanently, and I would have lost that that bullion, which is not really that big a loss, but yeah. Also, just look at the lava. This map's getting more and more dangerous as we go. And Gaius can't quite get there, but once again, with another transfer chain, he can. And fittingly, we get a rescue staff. So yeah, that's kind of cool. Now I like positioning Cyrene just there and Crom there, because these are the two that I'm going to end up fighting the boss with. And I'm actually going to have to make a save here, because I'm going to have to do 2 separate recording takes of this boss. Why? Well, oh hey, the army's 2 non-humans are paired up together. That's kind of interesting. Yanfei is unique among bosses in this game. And that's really, really annoying when that happens. Ow. Oh, and they were both safe, really. And that's a safe spot, so I'm fine standing there. So, like I was saying, Yanfei is unique among bosses in this game. Not only does he have unique battle quotes between certain characters, them being Cyrene and Crom, he actually has unique defeat quotes if Cyrene or Crom finish him off, and because of that, yeah, I'm going to have to do 2 separate takes of this guy. One where I defeat him with Cyrene, and one where I defeat him with Crom. But defeating him is easier said than done, because Yanfei has a Matsu, an A-rank sword that's exclusive to Myrmidons and Swordmasters, and it's a 1 to 2 range weapon, so don't think you can get away with sniping him from long range. He can still hit you. He also has a noble rapier that he actually can't use, but that'll replace Lucina's rapier once we get it. In terms of skills, though, he also has Vantage and Astra. This is a very dangerous combination when his health goes down to half, because he can hit you before you're ready and activate Astra, and that is pretty brutal. Of course, his sword only has a hit rate of 60, so that is his one sort of weakness. Because of that, his hit rate against Cyrene is fairly low, and by fairly low I mean very, very low. Well, okay, saving first, but I guess it's time for the fated showdown. Here we go. We also get a unique boss intro theme for this guy. Sadly, he doesn't have his own unique boss theme, though. That would have been awesome.
What drivel?
Yanfei! We can do it. Guide me.
Such strength.
How do you mean?
And I've been pronouncing her name wrong this whole time. Damn it. But we get his unique sword, and Sayri can actually use that now, so let's do that. We also get a noble rapier, which Sayri definitely can't use, it's only for lords. Basically, it's a better version of a normal rapier. And with that, the chapter is over. And I'll cut to his defeat quote against Crom now. So, here's what happens if Crom is the one to defeat Yanfei.
Really?
Crom has a special boss intro conversation too.
Verily so. Listen to me. Listen. What drivel?
Yeah, don't waste your time trying to recruit Yanfei. You cannot recruit Yanfei in this chapter.
Have faith.
I will not fail.
Together.
Your time is short.
Yanfei's Astra skill does make him very dangerous.
Such strength.
But he's down once more. That's all you get if you finish him off with Crom, so finishing him with Sayri is probably more worthwhile. Now, if someone other than those two fights and defeats Yanfei, he gets much less of a battle intro for one.
I challenge my fate!
Such strength.
By now, it should be easy for you to figure out just why Yanfei was fighting. But it's time we learn the full story. Yanfei has fallen. But why did he join Wileheart? Oh no! You just had to show up right now, didn't you? You know, I wouldn't mind this guy having his face shoved in the lava right now. Yes, Loathsome Toad is pretty much the best way to describe this guy.
What?
I'm pretty sure Sayri could just Vantage Astra you to death right here. In fact, she probably wouldn't even need Astra to kill you.
Faye. Really? How do you mean?
Excellus outright admits that he almost never tells the truth. Yeah, yeah, we hate this guy. Remember back to chapter 15. Apart from those two armor knights surrounding Cyree, none of the enemies ever attempted to attack her before we reached her. There was a good reason for that. If they had, particularly some of the mages, there's a good chance that, well, unless we rescue starved our way out of it, that Cyree would have been dead before we could get to her. This is why they didn't just attack her then. Ugh, just kill him now! Kill him now! Of course, everyone's too traumatized to do it.
Yanfei. How could this happen? Mercy, friend. Hey. My gratitude.